Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday, March 16th. I hope you guys all enjoyed your day off yesterday. As you can see by the board behind me, today we're going to be taking a pause from reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets to work on some vocabulary. So you can see here the do now asks you to make sure that you write down your homework and your classwork and your agenda. Today, I want you to finish any past due assignments, including the Frere vocabulary model if you don't get it done today. So that's what we're going to be working on today. It's called a Frere vocabulary model. So I want you to make sure you get that done today. And I'm going to be giving you the directions on that shortly. And then any past due assignments. So make sure that you go to Google Classroom and check out to make sure that all of your work has been handed in. I always make sure that I grade it and I give it back to you with a grade. So if you notice any of your grades are zeros or anything is missing, make sure you get those back in. If you are a student who comes to school on A days or B days, I've tried to make sure that I have handed out past due work notices so you will see what work that you are missing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's scroll down into our table of contents. Today, we are not adding a new notebook page. All right, instead, again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on these things called Frere vocabulary models. So let's jump into what those are. So Frere vocabulary models are a fun, simple way to learn new vocabulary. All right, for the students who are in class today, this is kind of what I anticipate the day will be broken up into. It should take us about 10 to 15 minutes to go over the directions. And then we should have about 45 to 60 minutes to complete the model. So you'll have about an hour to work on these in class today. And then we will have 15 to 20 minutes to share our models and hang them up. Now, if you're a virtual student or if you are at home today, what you're going to do is still make sure that you upload a picture of yours. You can bring it into school if you are a B-Day student, and then we can collect them from you guys on Thursday or Friday, and we can still hang them up for you. And for the virtual students, you'll just make sure that you hand those in digitally, and then I will be able to mark down that you've completed your classwork. Okay, so here are the directions. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to have your copy of Harry Potter. Excuse me. You need to have your copy of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm home, so I've got my hardcover copy. And what you're going to do is, first thing you're going to do is find a fun or an interesting or a new or a challenging word from chapters 1 through 4. And I should have told you as we're reading chapters 1 through 4, anytime you come across a new or an interesting word to go ahead and underline it. So, that's my mistake. But what you guys are going to do first is you're going to go back through the text and you're going to scan through and you're going to be looking for new, fun, interesting, challenging words that you don't already know. Now, here's the thing. You want to make sure that it is not a made-up word by J.K. Rowling. For example, a word like mudblood. Okay, well, these are all real words, but it's a made-up word by J.K. Rowling. A word like muggle. Again, it's a made-up word. Gryffindor, Hufflepuff. These are made-up words that she made up specifically for her books. So we're not looking for one of those words, because any of those words, they're going to be defined by J.K. Rowling in the text. So we don't really need to go look them up. All right, while we're reading, we learn what a muggle is. All right, or we learn what a mudblood is. Okay, you're looking for actual words in the English language that might be new or fascinating, interesting, or challenging words for you. So that's the first step, is to find the word. Okay, then for the students in class, you're going to need to do this. You're going to sign up for your word on the whiteboard or chart paper, and you will include your name, your word, and your page number. We're going to be signing up for these in class. For you folks at home, you're going to need to just, don't worry about the step. You don't have to sign up for your word, okay? Any word that you pick will be fine. But again, when I look at these and when I go to grade them, I want to make sure that these really are interesting, challenging words. I don't want boring words. I don't want words that you as a sixth grader should know. I'll show you some examples. 3 of them I actually have here on the blog. All right, we're not looking for easy words. I don't want you to pick a word that you already know. All right, it could be a word that maybe you think you kind of know what it means, or it could be a word that you completely have no idea what that word means. All right, so that's the kinds of words we're looking for. Really, they should be challenging words. We're looking to learn new vocabulary. Okay, now, for the people, again, in school, once a word is taken, it may not be used again by any other student in that classroom. Okay, but for you virtual students at home, again, you guys don't have to worry about that. That won't apply to you. Now, you will only have today in class to work on your model. We're presenting them today in class. All right, so you need to make sure that if you're a student in class, you're getting this done in the time limit that is provided. All right, for the people at home, you guys can take as long as you want to work on these. All right, so basically, all right, Frere models have 6 sections, and I want to scroll down a little bit on the blog to actually show you what it looks like, and then I will talk to you about each section. All right, so, and unfortunately, guys, I did not include a copy of this in your packet. So, for the people at home, you will need to get a piece of white paper. If you don't have plain white paper, just a piece of lined paper or a piece of lightly colored construction paper would work. All right? But you will see the way that this is set up. It's set up, you kind of have a cross, okay, right here in the middle. All right? But you have this rectangle. So what I would probably do is I would probably start by drawing a nice big rectangle in the middle of my paper. And then once I have that, you really want to try to cut your paper in half down the middle like this, and then not quite in half going across this way, because you can see we really have another bottom section here, all right? And so what we end up with is we end up with these 4 squares, we end up with a rectangle in the middle, and then we end up with a section at the bottom, again, another rectangle. And you can see I've labeled inside of each one of these what goes in each section. And that's really what I'm explaining to you right here, that Frere models have 6 sections. First, the word. Okay, the word goes in the middle, and you should write it big and you should write it bold. So in this middle section, you're going to write your word big and bold. You want it to really fill the space. I don't want it to be small. I don't want it to be over here. I want a nice big bold word in the middle. Okay, for the people in school, we're going to hang these on your lockers, so you want them big and bold. Your final copies are going to have no pencil on them. Any pencil lines that you guys write, you're going to go over them in marker or colored pencil, something that can be big and bold, so that when students are walking down the hallway, they can turn, they can look at your locker, and they see these big, bold, colorful vocabulary models. So that's the first section. The second, okay, is the sentence from the text goes in the top left. And you will copy the whole sentence properly, the entire sentence, and that goes in this top left section. You can see it says it, sentence from the text. And once again, I want you to kind of fill the space. So I want you to think whether or not you have a long sentence or a short sentence. And I really want you to try to space it out so that it's big. It should fill the space. All right, your your sentence from the text shouldn't be just written really small up here. Okay, you really want to try to space it out. Third, okay, is the definition. The definition of the word goes in the top right. And you need to include the function, or what we call the part of speech that it is. And here you can see I wrote, when we talk about the function or the part of speech, we're talking about, is your word a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb? Okay, and I'm going to show you where you guys can find that definition. It's at a place called WordCentral. And I'll show you guys where you guys can find that link. You can actually just type this in, or you could use our blog, and I'll show you where you can get that link. All right, so the definition, that goes in the top right. And here's the thing, when you look up words in a dictionary, whether it be a paper dictionary or it be an online dictionary, there is often more than one definition. And sometimes there's even more than one function. Sometimes a word, depending on its ending, it could be an adjective or it could be an adverb. Okay, it just depends on the ending. So you really need to make sure that you are picking the right function. And again, the dictionary is going to tell you what its function is or what part of speech your word is. Okay, and again, I will show you WordCentral when I show you the examples. All right. Section number 4 is for your synonyms and examples. They go in the bottom left. Okay, they go right here. And synonyms are words that mean about the same thing. All right, so for example, the word big, a synonym is huge or large. Okay, small, synonyms of small might be little or tiny. Okay, these are words that mean about the same thing. Sometimes words have no synonyms, and in that case, you might want to include some examples. All right, again, we'll have to look at some of the examples that I have here of Frere models to see if this applies. All right, but every word has some kind of synonyms or examples. And again, sometimes you will use the dictionary or what's called a thesaurus, and other times you'll have to just use what you got between your ears, and you'll have to think of what are some examples of this word. The last section, or I should say the second to last section, is for your antonyms and your opposites. They go in the bottom right. And antonyms are words that mean the opposite. So when we say antonyms and opposites, those two things are synonyms, ironically enough. So those go in the bottom right here. This is where you're going to write words that mean the opposite of your vocabulary word. And the last section is right down here. This is where you're going to put an illustration. You're going to try to illustrate your word, whatever your word may be. All right, so now let me give you some tips before I go in and show you your examples. Okay, here are some tips for you guys. Number one, I said it before, write big and bold. Make sure you're filling the space. Okay, you don't want small writing, write big and bold. 2, make sure everything is spelled correctly. There should be no spelling errors. Okay. 3, write using bold, dark colors. All right, you don't want to write in like light yellow colors or light oranges. If you're going to use colored pencil, this is a place where you could use marker to go over your words. You want to make sure you're going to write in bold, dark colors because you want those colors to pop off the models. Again, you'll see that in the ones that I'm going to show you. Okay, 4, you need to color and decorate using lighter colors and light shading. Because again, you want the words to pop out, and then you want this to be very colorful. I don't want you to really leave any white space behind. All right, these are vocabulary models. We do want them to look good. We want them to be creative and colorful. All right, as people are walking down the hallway. So it's very eye-catching. Okay, you kind of get to use your artistic skills and be creative. Next, you need to be aware of the time and work diligently. This is more for the students who are in class than it is for you folks at home. You guys can take as much time as you need. Next, do not just copy the definition from the dictionary. You're going to want to try to fully understand the definition, and if you can, put it in your own words. All right? When we just copy the definition down, that's really not thinking. It's not critically thinking. It's just copying. But if you can take that definition and you can really understand it and make sense of it, you'll be able to write the definition in your own words. 6th grade words. Okay? When people who write the dictionary, they don't write it in 6th grade words. All right? So again, the more you can put the definition in your own words, the better you're going to do. Next is, again, make sure that you include the part of speech, and that's whether or not your word is a noun, and nouns are people, places, things. Verbs are your action words. Basically, if you can do it, it's a verb. Adjectives are descriptive words, and they describe nouns. So let's say a noun. Right now, I'm looking at my iPhone, so an iPhone is a noun. It's a thing. All right, and an adjective, I could say that it is the newest iPhone. Newest would be the adjective. It describes the iPhone. I could also say that it is a black iPhone. That means it describes the color of the phone. Black would be the adjective. Okay, so adjectives describe nouns. And then the last part of speech is an adverb. And adverbs describe the way verbs happen. Okay, so verbs are action words. So verbs are things like run. Okay, I run. Run would be your verb. Now, an adverb would describe the way that you run. If I was to say I run slowly, slowly is the adverb because it describes how the verb is happening. I'm doing it slowly. If I was to say I run quickly, Quickly is the adverb because it describes the way that I'm running. Okay? Or let's say the sentence was, I jump. Again, jump would be your verb. It's the action. It's the thing that you can do. I jump high. High is the adverb. Okay? It's telling me how you're jumping. How are you jumping? I'm jumping high. It's describing the verb. And a lot of people leave that off, and that's why I make sure I put it here in my tips. Don't forget to include what part of speech or what the function is of your word. Okay, now, you might want to complete the model in pencil first. Okay, and when you're doing it, again, you're going to want to keep in mind that you should go over it in pen, marker, or colored pencil after. So when you're writing in pencil, you don't want to write really small. Because if you go over it in marker, we know that markers are very fat, and when you were trying to go over those pencil lines, the marker's just going to bleed together, and it's going to look messy. Okay, so keep in mind, if you do your work in pencil first, and I would suggest that you're going to want to keep in mind that you're going to want to leave space to make sure that you can go over your letters with a marker or a pen or something that's going to be dark and bold. All right, now, for people in class, the teachers, we will give you a template for your model, and I will show you some examples of good models. If you're a virtual student, you make sure that you watch the video lesson. That's this, what we're looking at right now, so you guys can see some good examples. Here are some examples. Now, again, I originally had some older examples up here, but since then, I have updated that, so I have got new, more recent examples that I'm going to show you now. So, here we are. I'm going to scroll down. Now, this is the example, and you can see here, the word is vigorously, all right? And you can see it's written nice and big. It fills the space pretty well. This person could have written it even a little bit bigger. Okay, then right here we have the sentence from the text, and you're going to include the full sentence. Indeed, yes, sir, said Dobby, nodding vigorously, ears flapping. And so we see there's the word right there. The one thing that I would want you to include that this person did not is the page number. If you include the page number when it's time to present these, we can all go to that page number very easily, and we can see where that word is. Okay, now we have the definition. You'll see here, vigorously, it is an adverb. So it describes the way a verb is happening. In this sentence, Dobby is nodding vigorously. Nodding is the verb. That's the action. How is Dobby nodding? He's nodding vigorously. All right, so you see vigorously is describing the verb. So here's the definition. In a way that involves physical strength, effort, and energy. So again, Dobby is nodding his ears with physical strength and effort and energy. All right, he's not nodding them gently. He's nodding them vigorously with great effort and energy. This is an adverb, as I mentioned. All right, you'll see down here now in the bottom left, we have these synonyms. So synonyms, again, mean strongly, energetically, forcefully. And the puppy wagged his tail vigorously. I do not know exactly why she included this. I think this person included it as an example. All right, but here we have our synonyms and examples. Over here we have our antonyms. So we have words that would mean the opposite. And here, again, she did not put these as adverbs. This would be one place where it should really say weakly or frailly or feebly with a Y ending. Okay, but she's on the right track here. She's got words that mean the opposite. But unfortunately, basically these are adjectives. All right, if you're weak, that's an adjective. Frail is an adjective. Feeble is an adjective. So again, she is on the right track, okay? And so ultimately, I would say that is a good job, but she used adjectives instead of adverbs. These examples are not perfect, but they're just good examples. And then she has an illustration at the bottom, and she actually drew a picture of a dog wagging their tail vigorously. And again, I think that's why she has this example right there. And again, where does she find this information? It's all on WordCentral. I'll show you that in a minute. Hey, here's another one. Again, I really like this one, except you will notice in this upper box right here, okay, she's coloring in dark colors and the words kind of get lost. It's a little bit hard to read the words here, Now, lurching is her word. That's really easy to read. It's big, it's bold, and then the colors behind are relatively, they're light. All right, and so I like this because it's very colorful, but I would say that these words, they really need to pop off the page a little bit more. All right, but we have the sentence from the text. Over here, we have the definition, and you will notice this person, they forgot to include what part of speech it is. I don't know if it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. All right, now I do know that lurching is a verb, something that you can do. All right, but she does have the definition, but unfortunately there is no function that is included. We have the synonyms and we have the antonyms. And again, I think they did a good job here. These are a little bit bolder. They do stand out pretty well, unlike her definition up here. And then the last, we have a picture that she drew. So she drew, it looks like some kind of a Frankenstein monster, which is lurching at you. And then the last example I have here, again, I like this person, they got kind of creative with it. They really let their artistic and their creativity shine. Here you can see that the word is gaunt. We have the sentence from the text, a triumphant smile flickering across his gaunt face, on page 182. So this one's great because it includes the page number. Unfortunately, this person included just what was inside the quote, so it's really only the part of the sentence. They included the part of, this was a character speaking, but they didn't include the entire sentence. So here, that's a bit of an error. It is an adjective, so they included the part of speech, and they included the definition there. And I really like what they did with their synonyms and their antonyms. Again, you can see they kind of were drawing in there. Their words really pop right off the page. They're very easy to read. They're very easy to see. They got a little bit creative with how they did that. And then this person was very artistic, and you can really see that they kind of let their creativity shine. They drew a picture here of a man with a gaunt face. And remember, a face is, gaunt means lean and haggard, especially because of suffering from hunger or of age. So it's very thin, very lean. All right, and so you can see that that's what they attempted to do here. They drew a very thin, lean face. And then, again, I like what they did over here with these signs. So they put tubby with a circle around it, obese with a circle around it, because these are the opposites. And so they did a really good job with that illustration. Now, on the lesson, there is a second part, which is sharing our FRAIR models. For you folks at home, we won't be sharing these models. We won't be sharing these models per se. If I can find a way for you guys to stay on virtually and for us to broadcast you right to the smart boards and have you guys share them for at least the live people, that would be great. But for the people watching the video lesson, there just won't be a way for you guys to share them. But you will need to make sure that you upload them to our Google Classroom so I can check to see that you have those models. So throughout today's lesson, you'll see I referenced the use of WordCentral. And right now I'm in preview mode, so I have to go back over here to the blog just for a moment. So I'm going to click off of this, and I'm going to click on the actual blog. You can see I'm actually recording this video right now on Monday, March 8th. But what's important is that underneath the links, okay, right here underneath the links, you will see we have Mr. T's Google Classroom, we have our YouTube channel, we have Kid Blog, which we haven't used a lot this year, Newsy LA, which we haven't used at all. We have our APW district site, and then right below it, we have WordCentral. And WordCentral is where I want you guys to go. I think that this is the best. It is the most kid-friendly dictionary and thesaurus for people working on vocabulary. And you can see right here, it's put out by Merriam-Webster, and they're a very reputable dictionary company. So everything that you're going to find here, you guys can feel confident about. And you'll see at the top here, we have a dictionary, and we have thesaurus, and then we even have rhyming. Now, we're going to start by using the dictionary. That's the thing that will give us the definition. So I'm going to use one of the examples that I just showed you, and so the word was vigorously. So if I want to find the definition of vigorously, okay, I just simply come over here, and I type in vigorously. And you can see I've already typed this in before, so it's automatically coming up for me. But I would type out this word vigorously, and then you hit enter. You need to make sure that you spell it correctly. And right here, you can see I get the definition. And it tells you there's one entry found for vigorous. But my word is vigorously. Now, vigorous, vigorously, vigorousness, okay, these all they all have the same root word. So you need to make sure that you're looking through and you're reading everything here, all right? Don't just grab it and say, oh, it doesn't have vigorously. You need to read, all right? I cannot emphasize that enough. Students need to read. Every year, kids come over and say, my word's not there. I can only find vigorous. If you look through here, you'll see that it tells you main entry is vigorous. It gives you a pronunciation. It gives you the function of vigorous, which is an adjective. And it gives you two definitions, having vigor or done with force and energy. But then right below it, it gives us versions of the word vigorous. And right here we see vigorously and we see vigorousness. And we see that vigorously is an adverb and vigorousness is a noun. Well, my word is vigorously. Okay, and so I have it right here. All right, and again, vigorously simply describes a verb, and we see the definition, which is done with force and energy. So again, it doesn't change. The root word is the same. The root word here is vigorous. And when I showed you that example, you saw in that definition that it was something that is done with force and energy. And that's what this person has. All right? So you need to make sure that you're reading through the entire thing. Now, sometimes in the dictionary, it will automatically start by giving you synonyms. And you can see right here, it does give me some synonyms. Energetic, strenuous, okay? And so I've got a couple words right here. I don't have any opposites, okay? But that's where, again, I could go over to the thesaurus and I can try that out in the thesaurus, okay? So this is one example, vigorous. So now if I'm not finding what I need here, I'm not finding opposites, if I can't think of any opposites, I can come back up in here and I can click on the thesaurus. And a thesaurus, it's kind of like a dictionary, but instead of giving you the definition, it gives you synonyms and antonyms. Okay, so up here, I can come back up and I can type in vigorously. When I type in vigorously, okay, you can see it says one entry found for vigorously. The entry word is vigorously. And it gives me the text in a vigorous and forceful manner. So again, it's kind of giving you the definition. And then at the very bottom it says, see hard, okay? So what I need to do is I'm going to need to click on that because the thesaurus is saying, hey, if you want to know synonyms and antonyms of vigorously, you got to click on this word hard. Because one, these are going to be the same, okay? Now one, I automatically know that hard is a synonym of vigorously, okay? But I'm going to click on hard right here, and now, wow, we have a lot of text going on. And here in this box, it's giving me adjectives, adverbs, adjective, hard-boiled, hard-bitten. Now I'm going to look right here. I've got hard and adverb. Again, I know that vigorously was an adverb, so I'm going to make sure that I click on this one because this is the definition that I am talking about. I'm talking about hard, the adverb. So I click on it, and I should be able to hit go when I click on it. And now, this, folks, take a look, and hopefully you guys can see this at home. But on it, wow, I have tons of synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms are right here. And these, again, said the thesaurus said see hard. So when it says see hard, it's saying that if you go to hard, you're going to find the synonyms for this word vigorously. Because hard and vigorously mean the same thing. And because those two words mean the same thing, when you look up synonyms for hard, these are also going to be synonyms for vigorously. And here they are all listed. Callous, cold-blooded, hard-boiled, hard-hearted, heartless, inhumane, insensitive. So it just goes on and on and on. And then here we have related words as well. And again, related words, that's kind of like examples. So when we have related words, it's like these are almost synonyms, where these are perfect synonyms, these are almost synonyms. But then we also have near antonyms and we have antonyms. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So it's right there. What you have to do is you have to just make sure that you're using WordCentral. You need to make sure that you're taking the time to read. All right. So with that said, now, when you are done with your Frere model, you will need to go to Mr. Trumbull's Google Classroom. You will need to click on the Classworks tab. And under the Unit 3 assignments, you can see right here, it's labeled a vocabulary model. It comes right after the Chapter 4 summary. The vocabulary model is right here, and this is where the assignment is. Okay, and in this assignment, I've given you all of the directions, so kind of all of the directions are right here. It guides you right through what you need to do again, so I'm not going to read these directions with you right now, but those are the same pretty much as what you see on the blog. So you need to make sure that you upload a picture. Here is, if you click on it, if you have a printer at home, this is the blank copy. You guys could print this out for yourself at home. I apologize for not including one of these in your packet that I sent you. When I originally sent that packet out, we weren't planning on doing these models. But since then, obviously, plans have changed. And so now I do want you guys to work on this. But that's a very easy template to draw. So now that you guys have all of the directions, have fun with this. Enjoy it. Be creative. The more creative you are, I think the more fun you'll have with this. And I look forward to checking out those models, seeing what words you pick, and seeing what you guys can teach me. So until tomorrow, guys, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.